As the sun set on the opening rounds at Daytona, two things were apparent in the Progressive American Flat Track Series. First, the AFT Singles class is going to be one heck of a battle once again this year, and Cody Kopp is going to have a tough time completing the three-peat. Tom Drain, the Australian, gonna take the win at Daytona! Secondly, in the Super Twins category, 9-time champion Jared Mees is going to have to claw his way out of an early season hole once again if he wants to catch last year's rival and round one winner Dallas Daniels, or the KG veteran and winner of the second night, Brandon Robinson, who both share a spot atop of the class point standings. Brandon Robinson wins his hometown race here in Daytona. The Peach State plays host to the newest edition of the 2024 season next on Fox Sports. Hi everybody and welcome to the Yamaha Senoia Short Track at Senoia Raceway in Senoia, Georgia. I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside my good buddy Scotty Dubler. And Scotty, we're racing in the day today because Mother Nature kept us from racing under the lights.
She overwatered the track. They tried to get the race in last night. It was just way too soft, too many ruts, so they decided to postpone and race on Sunday.
When we last saw the Super Twins on track, Brandon Robinson was winning the race at Daytona, and he's coming into Senoia tied for the points lead with Dallas Daniels. With more on Brandon, here's Kristen Beat.
Brandon Robinson is essentially tied for first in the Super Twins season standings. Brandon, at Daytona, you told me this is the first season in a while you felt really healthy entering the season opener. And now, as we approach round 3, where are you at mentally, and have you made any changes to your program to ensure the kind of consistency it'll take to be in the championship conversation all season long?
I think for me personally, like I said, I feel good. Didn't really have any major injuries last year, just some minor stuff. And like I said, had a really good off season and realistically just coming in feeling better than I have physically. And I think that helps translate mentally, and just having, like I said, a good off season with riding and training and whatnot. Coming in with a clear head for once is good. And then as far as our team, I think just controlling what we can control, having Ben Evans wrenching for me and Cale Colkman coming in for suspension, and just having a really good team cohesion. Like, we have a lot of fun here, so it's a good time. It's a good environment, and I think, like I said, we just control what we can control, have fun, and get a little bit of luck. Hopefully we'll be there at the end of the year.
Well, if you missed last year's race, Scotty, it was a tremendous battle between Dallas Daniels and the now 9-time champion Jared Mees, with Jared taking the win.
What a race it was. They went back and forth. Jared showed what he's made of, and Dallas Daniels trying to prove that he is a contender.
We were throwing each other a lot of curveballs last year and diving each other, darting each other, everything but banging into each other. We did keep it very, very clean, but it was a great battle. We had a couple others throughout the season that were really good, so I expect nothing less. I really think he's going to be the player here, and we have a good setup based off last year winning the race, and see what happens.
Yeah, I think about it a lot, and it obviously irks me a little bit because I didn't, come out on top, but honestly, it's a great learning lesson. When I think back to Senoia last year, it's kind of the first time I ever really went like head-to-head with Jared, and we went back and forth on a short track style clay track. So, high-speed chess on a mile is way different than it is on a short track. So for me, it was like, he's very, very crafty, and I think we all know that by now. And I just hoping to take what I learned last year and apply it to here. And I've rewatched footage and thought about the race in my sleep and done all that stuff. But really, I apply that to all races. It's not that I just want to win this race. But definitely when you have a battle like that and you don't come out on top, it's really important to go back and reflect on what you did wrong and try to right it right.
Scotty, let's go ahead and take a look at the points after Daytona, getting ready to go racing here today in Senoia.
Brandon Robinson, Dallas Daniels both have a win and a third place at the season opening weekend. And then you got Sammy Halbert, who's running a select few events. He's not here, so Brandon Price sitting in the spot to move up to third. You got Jared Mees way back there in sixth, but I don't think he's too worried about it. He was a lot further back last season and still won the championship.
Let's get the rest of the stories as we go around the paddock. Brandon Price is looking to build off of his momentum from Daytona, where he scored a second and a ninth, looking to prove his worth.
It's a big boost, that's for sure. It'll help, attract more sponsors and really just try and keep our program going, because it's a low money effort, so we're just gonna have to try and get all the help we can get and get out there and get to all the races.
Cameron Smith finished 9th and 11th at the first 2 rounds. He's sitting in the top 10 of the points. He's got confidence coming into the Senoia Short Track.
I think right now just being with this team and being with good people, it just really means a lot. Definitely boosts my confidence knowing I'm coming here with good bikes and people who really care about what I'm trying to do here. So just great just to be here and ready to see what I got against the big guys.
In Daytona, Dan Bromley debuted on an untested Honda Twin. They assembled the bike that day, raced it that night. Dan said the results may not have shown it, but they made progress, and that's the goal this weekend, to continue the R&D and race trim on this bike in the hopes to return this Honda, backed by Al Lamb, to victory lane in the American Flat Track Series Super Twins class.
Briar Bauman with an 8th and a 4th at Daytona, back on a track that he likes, and it races more like a half mile. Watch for Briar to be up near the front.
That's a quick look at the stories from around the paddock. And when we come back, we'll be ready to go racing here at the Yamaha Senoia Short Track with the singles right after this. The Progressive American Flat Track Series is brought to you by Mission Foods. Mission Foods has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. And by Yamaha Motor Corporation, an official OEM partner of Progressive American Flat Track. Welcome back to the Yamaha Senoia Short Track. One rider that had a tremendous outing here last year was the First Impressions racer James Ott. Earlier, Kristen Beat caught up with him.
James Ott earned his best finish of the 2023 season here in Senoia. Are the expectations any higher now in your second season with the First Impressions racing team?
Yeah, way higher. We have way better motors this year that my dad built, and Ashley's been working her butt off getting them ready. So I'd like to win this race, especially after Daytona, getting 7th and 8th. So that's what we're here to do, win.
Scotty, do you have a favorite rider here?
I've got to be keeping my eye on Dalton Gauthier. He goes good on this kind of racetrack. Had a good season kickoff in Daytona. He's trying to do some damage and keep racing the entire season.
We want to turn some heads and prove some doubters wrong. So yeah, if we can do that, I'll be stoked.
One more rider that's done well so far this season and is currently sitting 7th in the points is the number 66 of Logan Eisenhart.
Basically, you just got to keep working at it, keep training, keep doing what I can do, get some riding in during the week, and just do what I have to do as a rider to keep myself up front. And it's gonna be a little learning curve, even though it's my sophomore year this year. I got much faster bikes this year, so hopefully I can do what I did at Daytona.
So let's see how they got into the main event. Cody Kopp takes the Pronto Parts Plus Pole Award and $500 on his Red Bull machine. Parts Unlimited AFT Singles getting underway here. Bad start for Kopp. Great start up front for Aiden Roosevans.
Roosevans had a good start, made a mistake right there, opened up the door for the 1.
Kopp comes through, takes the win.
Yeah, the track just really broke apart. I mean, it's a bummer we didn't get to race yesterday because it would have been a little safer, I think. This is just really not ideal. It's pretty rough, and I wish they'd watered a little more because it's kind of sketchy to race.
Parts Plus rider will be moving on. We move on to heat number 2, and it's Tom Drain on the monster-backed Yamaha, number 59, jumping quickly out to the lead.
15th in the main event last year, but a win here at heat race number 2.
Everything's working pretty well out there. It should give us a good starting spot for that main event.
And we move on to the Al Lamb's Dallas Honda Challenge. Kopp and Drain would see each other here, but it's Dalton Gauthier on the outside, the 79, jumping up to the lead, and he could really use that $2,500, and he would grab that win and the check as he takes the victory in the Al Lamb's Dallas Honda Challenge.
This is the best I've felt in a really long time this year. Honestly, kind of wasn't expecting it. We've changed a few things on the motorcycle this year, and it's definitely helped me out. And yeah, I feel like myself again.
Parts Unlimited AFT Singles presented by Kicker. Starting lineup on the pole: Cody Kopp, Tom Drain also on the front row with Dalton Gauthier and Chase Setoff. Keep your eyes on the 26 of Bruce Evans in his rookie debut, 288 Braden Fanders. Back in row number 4, keep your eye also on the 52 of Shayna Texter Bauman.
we go. Board is up, board is sideways. She leaves the track. We are ready. Here we go. Green, and we're racing. Drain looks to be first at the corner, but he's not going to make it. Gauthier again from the outside on the 79 takes the lead. Down the back straight. Look at everybody scrapping in the back.
Sadov, another terrible start. He's got to make his way through the field.
Kopp sits in third on the KTM. Pedals off the four. Trying to close back in on Drain. Drain is stalking Gauthier already. Kopp running the same line, but on the bottom, here comes Sadov on the 88. The Honda looking inside of the KTM. Battle is for third.
It almost looked like Gauthier went a little bit too wide, but he's still hanging on to the lead.
Oh, Drain almost gets tossed out of the saddle. Kopp can't make anything happen because he's on the high side of him at the time. Cody trying to get back around the outside. Sadov trying to make something happen on the bottom, and Roos Evans up to fifth on the 26.
Kopp going to the high line, making some passes.
Trying to get around Gauthier on the outside. Gauthier takes the line away a little bit. Back to the bottom, he goes into one. Gauthier goes through the bottom side of those braking bumps going into one, and Drain gets a good drive off of two. He's to the inside in three. Tom Drain, the Australian, getting the bite he needs with the Yamaha, and here he comes, 3 wide for second. Sadov and Kopp both get around Gauthier, but Drain's the new leader.
Sadov is the man on the move. Got a horrible start. Here he comes on the 88.
Chase Sadov slips back a little bit as Gauthier closes up to the high side of him. Kopp is on the outside of Drain, and the two-time champ pushing the young Australian.
The 88 up the inside, looking for second, now looking for the lead.
Sadov sitting there in third. He's got Gauthier to the outside. Here comes Kopp sniffing around the outside of Drain again. Cody Kopp seems to get a good run to the outside just as they come off of Ford, Scotty, but he can't get the pass done. Why not?
Because Tom Drain is actually drifting up right in front of him as they come off the corners, and it's blocking just a little bit. Drain's doing an excellent job. Cody is doing a better job looking for a different way through.
Cody Kopp, your new leader, to the line. Drain slips back to second. Sadov is to third, and Roos Evans gets around Gauthier, and he's now up to fourth. Kopp pulls a couple of bike links on Drain pretty quickly as they come down the backstretch and set up for three. 3.5 minutes and 2 laps to go in our Parts Unlimited AFT Singles presented by Kicker main event. Welcome back to the Senoia Raceway and the conclusion of the Parts Unlimited AFT Singles presented by Kicker.
Most of the riders are trying a little bit higher line than they've been running before, except for the 88. He's sticking to the bottom line. It seems to be that's where they're set up for.
Whoa, big slapper there for the 59 of Drain, and he rides through it.
He's got his hands full on that Yamaha.
Sadov saw that, took big advantage of it. Halfway sign is out. We are there less than 3 minutes and 2 to go. The battle is for second because Kopp is riding away with it on that Rick Ware Racing Parts Unlimited backed KTM.
Kopp got 5th here last year, is rebounding very well, but so did the 59. He got 15th here. Now he's run up here for second. Maybe trying to hang on a second. The third place rider is right there. That's Chase Sadov.
Drain really has to deal with Sadov here. Sadov pushing him hard. The monster-backed Yamaha rider Drain has lost contact with the Parts Plus #1 of Kopp at the front of the field.
He's running such a different line, Cody Kopp is. I can't believe nobody else has figured that out and is trying it just yet. They probably can't see him.
Sadov right there on the 88. Right in the wheel tracks of Tom Drain. Less than 2 minutes and 2 laps to go here in our main event.
Looking back through the field, Braden Fanders running a solid top 10 in his rookie debut on the 288 bike.
Kopp, who didn't like the way the track was shaping up here today early on in the afternoon, has to be very happy with it now as he's well out in front by over a second over Drain's Monster Energy backed machine. Sadov, Roos Evans, and Gauthier all behind him in the top 5.
Well, imagine if you liked the track, Ralph. Would he be further ahead? I mean, they just figured something out for this main event.
Yeah, he got himself in the right frame of mind to ride it, and he is doing a great job. And Sadov holds on in third here, trying to find a way around the Yamaha in front of him.
Kopp has the luxury of having his dad, a former champ, in his corner, and Andrew Butler, a former rider, also helping out that #1 rider.
1 minute and 2 laps to go here in our main event. This one going fast. Once Kopp got out front on that Parts Plus back KTM of Rick Ware, boy, he just checked out on the field. Almost a second and a half now between him and Drain.
And that's huge on a short track like we have here in Senoia.
Kopp looking for 3 championships in a row.
This would be win number 17 also of his career.
As he chases the record of Shayna Texter-Bauman.
With 19.
She's back in 13th here today. Clocks will be going to zeros, and then it'll be 2 laps to go after that.
Kopp has the fastest lap of the race, a 1:7.656. That is blistering fast.
That's the quickest of the day, too, isn't it?
Everything
I
that
think it is.
Yeah, I believe it is too.
For the $500 from Flo next race, too. 2 to go, it says. 2 to go. Cody has had a great afternoon here in Georgia. Shaking it off, getting ready for the white flag. The Parts Plus backed rider sees the white flag, 1 more lap to go. Leaves himself just a couple inches between him and that yellow wall down the front straightaway. Out of turn number 2, shaking his head. He knows he's got a great day.
He's feeling it.
Check is waiting for him. Checkered flag coming up after turn number 4. Bit of a hit there in turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag, and the win goes to the Parts Plus back #1 of Cody Kopp here for Rick Ware Racing. And a huge win on the short track here in Senoia, Georgia. Train will take second, Sadoff third, Bruce Evans and Gauthier round out the top 5. And Dad's going for the ride with him.
Good for him.
I think there was a lot of talk between those two about how you got to ride this one mentally, how to approach this race, and it all paid off, and Cody knows it. All right, Kristen, he didn't like the track earlier on in the day, but boy, he's got to be pretty happy with it now.
Cody, you seemed to be struggling earlier in the day with accepting this track for what it was. What helped you work past that mental block?
I mean, I wasn't struggling with accepting it. I knew this is kind of what we have to deal with here with some events that almost get rained out. But I mean, I'm just I'm happy to be up here and to be able to spin laps like that. I had a big moment down there in turn 4, and yeah, I'm just happy to ride out of it. I mean, that was pretty crazy, but yeah, hats off to Tom and Chase and Dalton as well. He was in the mix those first few laps. I mean, it was chaos. I got a terrible start and trying to roll him around the outside. Thank God they watered it right before the main because she was a little too dry earlier today. But huge shout out to my Rick Ware Racing team, Parts Plus, Jacob Construction, Latest Motors, Parts Unlimited, Arai, Oakley, Wally Brown Racing, FMF, everybody, and Bob Lamphere. Everybody is behind me. This is cool. We're ready to get on a roll now, coming to Texas in about 3-4 weeks. I don't even know.
Well done, Cody.
Scotty, how about the results?
Cody Kopp taking the win on the 1. Tom Drain was second. Chase Sadoff third. Aiden Roos Evans, a solid 4th place finish. Dalton Gauthier, who won the challenge race, is 5th. 6th is James Ott. Hunter Bauer 7th. Trent Lowe, Travis Pett, and Braden Fanders rounding out your top 10 in his rookie debut.
All right, great run for Braden. And we're going to go right back down to Kristen with 2nd place.
Tom, your 2nd short track podium of the season. During that main event, could you see the lines Cody was running, and what maybe prevented you from trying that line?
Yeah, I tried running a couple lines. I saw Cody run when he come by me, but I tried like my best to be able to do it, but I just couldn't run with him how he was riding. But I had to change my lines up a little bit to make it work for me, but I couldn't have done, like, even on the podium today without my whole Essence and Racing, Monster Energy, Yamaha team. Like, I can't thank them all enough for all the effort they put in and all the work we do behind the scenes.
And here's the hot replay of the show. Look at this to the inside, Drain right there. Kopp to the outside as they were chasing Dalton Gauthier. Dalton had the lead, but not for long here. As they come off the corner, Drain would take it. He would lead for a few laps before Kopp finally ran him down and took the checkers. Kristen.
Chase Sadoff rounding out the podium here today. Chase, I can tell you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself this season to make something happen, but you race with a lot of poise out there. Where's that poise coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. I just really want to get a win at some point. I know it takes time and that type of stuff, but you know, it sucks. Last year I had a couple podiums and a couple close runs, but I don't know. I like doing what we do, and I just like to have fun. That's my biggest thing. You know, I switched teams big time this year. I'm with Brian Bigelow now, pretty much just him and Mark and Troy. And we'd like to have a good time and just kind of like hang out at the track. And it's definitely like, I feel like it's a lot less pressure on me. And yeah, it's just way more fun. And yeah.
Congratulations, well done.
Well, Scotty, let's take a look at the points now.
Cody Kopp extends his points lead now to 17 with his second win of the season. Dalton Gauthier still in second. Tom Drain, a 15th, a first, and a second, now up to third. Chase Sadoff in fourth, and Trent Lowe rounding out your top five. Do a little track maintenance right now. One more race to go here at Senoia. Final race of the evening. Mission Super Twins main event.
Welcome back to Senoia, Georgia. Let's take a look back at last year's running of the Parts Unlimited AFT Singles presented by Kicker. It was a big night for the number 18 on that Red Bull KTM Maxwell, Scott.
He grabbed an awesome start. He had to fight with the Estenson Yamahas right here, and it seemed like the track just really fit his style.
It really did, and the big, tall, lanky Australian got up top, got the win, and it was the only win of 2023 for Maxwell. And with more on Maxwell, he's the subject of this week's Dunlop Rider Profile.
Last year was a tough year. You know, I had mixed results. I had good races, bad races, but all in all, it was just, I don't know, it was a weird year. I didn't feel comfortable, and I think this is what I needed in my career and my racing program was to move to the Super Twins class. You know, I'm a bigger, taller kind of guy, and everything is just so hard to keep weight down and stuff. I'm racing kids pretty much, so yeah, I feel like this was much needed, and hopefully I benefit from it. And then my team around me is awesome. They've been so good and supportive so far. You know, since the start of the year, it's been great. But yeah, went from Red Bull KTM in the singles, and then now this year, part of the latest motors racing team on the XG 750.
Max's best year was 2021. It was a great big season for him with 5 wins. 2022, he only had 1 win, and last year, 1 win was here at Senoia and 3 podiums. Let's see what Max can do when he moves to the Mission Super Twins class.
Another team that had big changes in the offseason is the Monster Energy-backed Yamaha squad of Estenson Racing. We had an opportunity to sit down with some of the key players in the organization.
In my heart, Yamaha has been with me since I was, a little kid. I grew up in a dealership, a Yamaha dealership that my father and brother had, and when I came back into racing years and years and years later, Yamaha was just naturally what I was leaning towards. Yeah, we went out and we won the 450 Singles Championship. And I'm like, man, this is simple. I am back. This is going to be a great time. And then I got slapped in the face after that.
The team definitely is a little different this year. We've scaled back more than we ever had with only 2 riders. And our thought behind that was just focus on one rider in each class, give them everything we can, give the bikes everything we can.
This year it's just me and Tom Drain. And as much as I am bummed to lose a teammate, especially a guy like JD or Trevor, the positives outweigh the negatives in this situation. I think that it's going to be a really good change for the team.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have Dallas there because he's done it before and he's raced singles and won the championship twice. And like him helping me has definitely helped a lot last year, and I think this year he'll be able to help me more again.
It's honestly funny because I was thinking about that. It's like I'm quote unquote the veteran. I don't even know if you'd say that, but the veteran rider on the team is definitely a different role for me. But I don't look at it that way. I look at it as I'm still just a dumb kid trying to learn how to go fast in a circle, and I've just got another little dumb kid underneath me that I'm going to try to help to not make the mistakes I did.
We have 2 goals left. One goal is to win the Twins Championship, which is to the forefront of my mind. That is where I'm going. That's what I'm driven for this year. The second goal is to win both championships in one single year. So when I sit back now and I see, see one of them on the top step and I see the group of support around in the blue shirts, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't get any better than this.
When we come back to the Peach State, we'll go racing with the Mission Super Twins here at Senoia, Georgia after this. Welcome back to the Yamaha Senoia Short Track. Let's take a look at the highlights of the Mission Super Twins before their main event, the Pronto Parts Plus Pole Award, $500 to Jared Mees. Here we go with their heat number one. Watch Mees on the bottom of the number one. Big slider here at the rear wheel. Brandon Robinson first to the corner. Davis Fisher challenges on the outside. But keep your eyes on the number three of Briar Bauman right up along the wall. But then at the end, it's Robinson taking the win.
I was surprised to be catching Brandon and Jared right there. I didn't feel as good as I did in qualifying. We made a pretty big change, honestly, so we'll go back to what we had in qualifying, and hopefully we have something for the main event.
On to Mission Super Twins heat number two. Keep an eye on 32. Came in here sharing the points lead with Brandon Robinson. Dallas Daniels sees Colby Carlisle come from the outside to take the lead, but Daniels would come back and take the win.
Feels just as comfortable as last year on my 450. I'm getting really comfortable on this thing. Me and Dave and Michelle, getting the lingo down. Kind of seeing what everybody means when what we want. So yeah, it's been going great, and look forward to making some more progress.
Trevor Bruno will be ready for the main, but first up will be the challenge race. Daniels, Robinson, Lewis, and Mees. Lewis with a great start. Daniels comes up, but look at Mees to the inside, taking the lead away, and then Daniels battles back, and the Yamaha rider pulls up the front wheel on the white flag, takes the lead away from the 9-time champ, and the win in $5,000 from Mission Foods.
Your Mission starting lineup: Dallas Daniels on the pole on the Yamaha 32, Robinson, Johnny Lewis, and Mees all in the front rows as well. Trevor Bruner back there with Briar Bauman on row number 2, Colby Carlisle, Dan Bromley on that Honda in row number 3. It's going to be anybody's race. We're going to find out who the winner is in just a moment.
Let's go to Kristen.
Yeah, guys, after speaking with some of the singles riders after that main event, the superficial layer that we talked about earlier in the day, that dry part of the track, is starting to dissolve. It's starting to deteriorate. And what is underneath that is all that rain that we saw previous in the week. It's kind of wet. It's kind of gummy. And instead of the track just chunking out, there are actually holes developing. We're seeing the marbles. So a lot for the riders to navigate in this Super Twins main event.
Yeah, it sure is, Kristen. It's going to be a real challenge for these guys. Here we go. Revs are up. Get ready. The Mission Foods Super Twin main event from Senoia is underway. Great start for the 32 at Daniels, and Mees from the outside. The Indian comes storming around the outside, and he didn't want that starting spot, but he made it work, and he's the leader heading into 3.
Ralph, I think it just fired him up.
Oh, it sure did. Good thing he kept it out of his head, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And Lewis, who wanted the bottom, is all the way back in 4th as Robinson rides the outside on the 44. It's the Indian and the Royal Enfield battling for 3rd, but Daniels is right there behind Mees. That's going to be the fight for the next 10 minutes.
I believe it is too. The 44 went up there, looked at the high line. That's where he saw Cody Cobb running fast, but it's not working out for the Super Twins.
Here's Daniels on the inside going into 1. New leader as we come off the 2. Can he stay there?
He's got to hold the bottom right now. It makes a little bobble right there. Here comes the 10.
Look at Johnny Lewis getting right up alongside of Jared Mees. Mees is focused on that rear section of the 32 Yamaha in front of him, watching his line, looking for a bobble, looking to capitalize. Where can I pounce? Daniel's doing a great job of riding his line and not feeling the pressure, but Mees is right here, side by side through 1 and 2. New leader again, and it's Jared Mees.
And here's the 10 of Johnny Lewis trying to come along with on that Royal Enfield.
The fantastic part of this is they both had the lead. Neither one could escape the clutches of the other. So we've got another 8.5 minutes and 2 laps of these two scrapping elbow to elbow.
And while they mix it up like that, it's allowing 3rd, 4th, and now 5th are right there close to the leaders.
And 5th is Briar Bauman on the Rick Ware Racing KTM. What could he do here today? Another former champion in the mix.
I think he's going to have to get through this traffic as soon as he can. Otherwise, these two leaders might break away.
Everybody hanging way down on the bottom, and Scotty, that means that upper groove is wide open for the taking if somebody wants to venture up there.
But if they're down there on the bottom, they're pushing the marbles up to the high side. It worked for Cody Kopp. It hasn't worked for anybody yet in the Super Twins, mate.
Mees continues to lead, but he hasn't really stepped away from Daniels, just about a bike length between the two. And Dallas looks very comfy sitting there in second right now. Maybe he's just going to follow him around for a little bit.
Watch and learn. Don't overexert yourself, but don't let the one sneak away, as he got an excellent turn 3 and 4 for the one bike.
Yeah, you can't make a mistake like that. That's going to give Jared another bike length or two, and those are hard to get back.
So Dallas needs to focus, put in some really smooth, consistent laps right now, and close that door back on the one bike.
Just like that one right there. That was a really good lap for Dallas Daniels on monster back Essence and Racing Yamaha. There's the fight for third. Lewis, Robinson, and Bauman all in a line.
And at some point, you're going to get tired of following that guy in front of you. You're going to have to go in there and go underneath them and push the door open, or maybe, just maybe, try the outside line to make a pass.
Well, if Robinson sneaks to the outside, which he has a tendency to do, you'll see Bauman dive to the bottom and we'll go 3 wide.
And we just saw the 3 getting tired of following the 44. He's looking at the higher line right now.
Here comes Briar Bauman. That Parts Plus back number 3. Oh, he smacked the wall coming off of 4 with that rear tire.
You don't want to do that.
No, but he took it all the way to the wall.
And the momentum just carries you up, especially after turn number 4. If you go in high, you drift up all the way to that wall.
Briar has to find his rhythm again. Here's that replay. Watch the rear tire on the number 3. Right in here. Bang, just right up onto that wall. He didn't hit it with a whole lot of force, but he smacked it.
Enough to straighten out the motorcycle, you know.
Sure did.
He definitely felt it. But he's closing right back on the back tire of the 44. Johnny Lewis still holding on right now for the third on that Royal Enfield. An impressive ride for Johnny Lewis.
That'll get you to spike your heart rate, won't it?
Absolutely.
Me still out in front by less than a second over Daniels. Then it's this gap back here to Lewis, who's out in front of Robinson, who's now bar to bar with Bauman as they come off the corner once again.
I like Briar. He's not following right now. He's looking for a way through, and it appears that he's going like 1 notch higher, trying to go above the bumps, but not try to go too high. And he's going to try to get in front of the 44 and then drop down in front of him.
Here comes Briar again, looking to the outside. He's got that Parts Plus KTM working really good here today. Sitting back in 5th, trying to get into the top 3. He feels like he could be a challenger for the championship this year. He needs a good point stay here. A top 3 and on the podium would be fantastic for the number 3.
Well, I think it'd definitely be a lot better, and it'd be a boost of his confidence if he could get by this number 10 right now, Johnny Lewis, who's doing nothing wrong at all. But if the 44 could get by, it'd be a better day for him.
I think Bauman's going to have to find a way on the bottom because Brandon keeps taking him just high enough that he can't get around the outside on the front straightaway. Cross flags means we're halfway home, and we are. Less than 5 minutes and 2 laps to go.
And they can see that. They know it's halfway through. They can also watch the clock every time they go down the starting line, so they know exactly how much time's
Briar
left.
To the outside, and 3 and 4 this time. Can he make it stick? Now he's got to cut it down. He's going to close the door on Robinson going into 1, and he's going to stay there to try to get Lewis as well. Great ride on the high side. Oh, he slipped there in 2, and that's going to kill the momentum. Oh, Scotty, he had him. Now he comes back. Bauman still in the throttle, working it hard on the high side here at Senoia. Around the outside, once again up along the wall.
The high side's working in 3 and 4. It's not working so good right here in turn number 2. He has to drop to the bottom. But he's right there.
He's right there, but he's got to square it off and make it work. 4 minutes and 2 laps to go, and Robinson starts to inch around Lewis. Can this be something that Bauman can work with? Can he get to the inside of Lewis while Lewis thinks about the high side of Robinson? Because you would think Lewis is going to push a little bit to try to drive Robinson high, and he doesn't get it done.
He doesn't get it done, so now the 3 has to go after the 10. The 44 is up there in the
There he
podium
goes.
spot. Here comes the 3.
Briar's around him, and he'll make it stick at the line, give the 4th position to Briar Bauman as they cross the line. So now it's Mees, Daniels, Robinson, Bauman, and Lewis, your top 5. Vanderkoy sits in 6th. And oh, by the way, the Honda is back at 11th, 1 spot out of a top 10 again for Dan Bromley. Welcome back for the finale of the Super Twins race from Senoia Raceway. The Daytona winner, from round number 2 in Daytona, came in here tied for the points lead with Daniels, and he's 1 spot behind him right now. Brandon Robinson looking like an early season rival for the championship for Mies and Daniels.
And Mies, who got a 5th and a 6th, or a 6th and a 5th at Daytona, he is the leader of the race right now. He needs to win the race to close that points gap already.
And these two are dropping Lewis pretty fast.
Yeah,
You knew where I wanted to go.
Yeah, as soon as they got by him, Johnny Lewis kind of, it just takes the wind out of your sail. You know, when you get passed by 2 guys in 2 laps, it hurts, you know.
Meanwhile, Mies and Daniels separated by a second up front, 1.2 seconds.
You think the 3 can figure out a way to get around the 44?
He's got to get it done. 2.5 minutes and 2 laps to go. Bauman needs to get on the box here today to really keep himself in the thick of this points chase. It'll give him a tremendous amount of confidence as we head west to Texas next. That team has worked hard on that bike all day long. We heard him saying it in interviews earlier with Christian. We're finding some things, we're making some big swings, we're gaining here, we're gaining there. On the box here today, we really put the cap on. Hey, we didn't win, but we had a good day.
And only the 3rd race out on this brand new Howerton chassis.
Yep. It's a narrower chassis, isn't it, Scotty?
Correct. It's more like the one that like Brian Smith used to have, those really narrow Kawasaki's, then he had a really skinny Indian. Well, they kind of copied both of those and made this really skinny chassis for the taller rider of Briar Bauman on the 3 bike.
Getting around some lap traffic here. Cameron Smith on the 34 does a good job of getting out of the way, doesn't want to impact this battle here.
That's good sportsmanship.
This is a fight that's going to impact the championship this year because both of these riders want to be in the mix for this title with Mies and Daniels all the way to the last race of the year.
Nobody wants to give up that podium spot either.
No, they don't. There you see Smith on the high side, and look at Breyer have to wrestle that Parts Plus KTM.
And that's just one of the soft spots on the race, you know, a factor from all the rain we had earlier in the week.
Coming up to 1 minute and 2 laps to go. Daniels has lost some more ground to Mies. Is he going to be able to reel him in here in the final few? Up to 1.5 seconds between the 1 and the 32.
This is the best race on the racetrack. We're keeping an eye on that final podium spot. Kobe Carlisle down 1 lap, gets in right behind these 2 guys.
Here's Mies, and he's going to love this. He didn't win the challenge. He got snookered there by Daniels at the end, but Mies will love if he can win the main event by 1.5 seconds over Daniels.
Ooh, he hits the rut right there, or a little soft spot right there. That's enough to get the heart rate going.
It's up to almost 2 seconds now. Let's see what it is when he crosses the line this time by. He's going to have to go around at least probably 2 more laps to get those 2 to go sign.
Still 1.8 seconds. So when Jared made a mistake, I believe Dallas made the same mistake on the same lap.
They should see the zeros here.
Pretty close. Nope.
Nope, he's got to go again, as we thought. One more time.
That last lap, 18.4. The track has slowed down 0.7 of a second since the fastest lap to that last lap.
Quick look over the shoulder to see where his rival is. Sees he's got a comfortable lead. He's got some traffic in front of him. 2 laps to go for the 9-time champ Jared Mies as he chases an unprecedented 10th championship Progressive American Flat Track competition in the premier category.
We'll be looking for the white flag this time, Ralph. Here he comes.
He came here to Senoia knowing he had to make a statement, and he has done it here this afternoon. Over 1.5 seconds in front of his #1 title rival, the man he knows he's going to have to deal with all year. Coming to the checkers, Jared Mies. Mission accomplished in Senoia. He will take the checkered flag at the Yamaha Senoia Short Track. Jared Mies wins it on the Indian here in Senoia. And he knows it, Scotty. He knew he had a mission, and he just accomplished it.
His 7th short track win of his career, and he's pumped up about it.
He's going to need a few more this year if he wants title number 10. The Progressive American Flat Track Series has been brought to you by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of Progressive American Flat Track, and by Royal Enfield, an official OEM partner of Progressive American Flat Track.
Jared is all smiles now, but Jared, it looked like you were racing angry.
Maybe a little bit. I fast qualified it earlier today, but I didn't really feel good, really. I mean, I was making some decent laps, but making a lot of mistakes. And my heat race, I was on Brandon, but, I couldn't really get by. And even though I was all over the back of him, he was basically towing the pace, really, and I was just matching it. Like, I couldn't have went any faster in the dash. Dallas ate my lunch, man. I was really worried about Dallas. Him and his team, they were rolling really good. He was really consistent, able to get the bike turned, and that's where I was struggling at all day. And we made some changes. We went a direction that we've never went before with some things, and the motorcycle was phenomenal. Like, it turned great, and it rolled good. Like, everything that I needed it to do all day, it finally came to me. So, I knew that this track could be my style, but I'll be honest, I was worried. Dallas was rolling really good.
A roll of the dice getting the bike rolling out there for Jared Mees' first win of the 2024 season.
How could there have been a setup that this 9-time champion had never tried before in all those years of racing, as deep as Kenny Tolbert's notebook has to be, to think that there was something that they still hadn't tried?
Well,
amazing.
But it works, and that's why they're a 9-time champ right there.
That's why they don't give up, right?
You have to keep
find
trying.
something else. Here's the replay. This is where Jared gets inside of Dallas, and look at how aggressive that racing is and how much these two riders respect each other and trust each other.
That got set up the straightaway before. He come off the turn before, got a good drive, and then came up the inside just underneath the 32, and that was enough to take the lead.
And you think winning still doesn't mean something to a 9-time champion? Look at that. He knows that was a big statement he had to make, and he's back and ready to fight for this title. And we go to Dallas.
Second overall, but mistake-free during that main event. How hard was it to exhibit self-control?
Yeah, it was tough because, the track was really one line pretty much all day, and it seemed like in the 450 main, the guys were kind of searching around a little bit, and I was paying attention to that, but it seemed like for us, we were just glued right around the bottom. Like Jared said, he thought I had his lunch, and damn, I was thinking that too, It was, we were rolling good all day, and we've been kind of trying some stuff. Like, the team's been working pretty hard, and we haven't had much time to test, so what better test than on race day? And we're just been trying to dial things in a little bit, and all day, man, I just felt so good, and the team just kind of kept dialing me in. We kept trying stuff, and I think last year we were a little hesitant to do that, try things, and we were a little too conservative, and so we just kind of went for it in every direction. Every step was good. And, we thought we had it good for that main. The track was a little bit different, but Jared was just a little bit better, and that was just it. I mean, on a track like this, you just have to have a little bit over a guy, and it looks like it's a lot at the end of the race. So it's definitely frustrating, for sure, just coming close to winning this race last year and, not really close to winning it this year. I mean, it's a distant second. But I feel like we've made strides. Just see if we can find a little more.
Well done.
Scotty, I think that's a big statement that shows another step that Dallas has made, not just himself, but his team with him, that they found a setup, but then they could go and explore other things throughout the day and come back to what they knew would work.
Learning as they go. Jared Mees winning his 73rd Grand National, his 7th short track. His team owner, Craig Rogers, his 79th win, taking the victory here in Georgia. 32, Dallas Daniels 2nd, Robinson 3rd, Briar Bauman 4th, Van de Kooi 5th, Johnny Lewis hangs on to 6th, Brandon Price from the back of the pack to 7th, Davis Fisher 8th, 9th is Bruner, and 10th is the Australian Max Whale.
Kristen, it's Brandon Robinson that takes 3rd.
3 podiums and 3 starts for B-Rob this season, but in those final laps, Briar Bauman just breathing down your neck, really making you work for it.
Yeah, it was just one of those tracks where it got so rough and so gnarly, and I was holding on for dear life at that point, and I could hear him. I'm like, man, just hit your marks, and man, he's a good buddy of mine, and we do a lot of winter training together, and we know each other's cardio, we know each other's stamina, we know we can last, and it was just like, man, I just can't mess up, and thankfully I just kept hitting my marks and got away with a 3rd. This was a track I wasn't overly comfortable with all day, and just never really got in a great rhythm, and I'm happy with a 3rd. I'll take that all day long. Way better than the scenario that happened to me here last year. And yeah, 3 for 3 on podiums, and we'll try to keep the ball rolling in Texas.
And that is the day in Senoia, Georgia, boys.
Off to one of the best starts he's had in recent years. He's going to be a player this year.
Absolutely. Dallas Daniels still your points leader with a 1st, a 3rd, and a 2nd. Robinson on the podium all 3 races so far, sitting 2nd. Jared Mees now moves up to 3rd with his first win of the season. Brandon Price 4th, and Briar Bauman in the top 5 in the Mission Super Twins point standings.
What a day of racing after a rough start to the weekend courtesy of Mother Nature. The sun came out bright today. The track crew did an awesome job prepping the surface, and we had some fantastic racing here, Scotty.
It was awesome. The track, you know, it had some issues, it had some problems, but all in all, we got the race in.
For Kristen Beat and Scotty Dubler, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Thanks for joining us for Progressive American Flat Track, the Yamaha Senoia Short Track. Congratulations to Cody Kopp and Jared B. See you in Texas, everybody.